This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Former Donald Trump 2016 campaign manager Corey Lewandowski testified before the House Judiciary Committee yesterday. As expected, he was smug, insolent, and playing for an audience of one: Donald Trump. He refused to answer many questions on the basis of a presidential executive privilege that doesn't even apply to him because, believe it or not, he wasn't even smart enough to be considered for a position within this administration. Think about all the dummies who have worked for Donald Trump and just how much of a dummy you have to be to not even be as smart as one of them. That is Corey Lewandowski. You see, you have to be an employee of the executive branch of the government for any executive privilege to apply. And Corey was not. Again, too dumb. Executive privilege, while found nowhere in the United States Constitution, is a legal maneuver or theory of sorts used by presidents claiming that in order to receive candid advice from their aides, they need to be able to provide assurances that those aides won't have to be testifying under oath before a congressional committee. It's long been understood as a separation of powers element of our government. Sometimes it is legitimate, but more times than not, when either party is in office, it is just a way for the executive to attempt to reserve its power and authority over the other two branches. There was one moment, though, that needs to be highlighted in his testimony. You see, Majority Committee staff hired a white-collar crime expert as a consultant, a lawyer, a guy named Barry Burke, who put on a masterclass in hostile witness questioning and forced Corey Lewandowski into effectively admitting that he is a shameless Trump lackey who disrespects the American people so much that he feels no obligation whatsoever to tell them the truth.
That was you saying on MSNBC, you don't ever remember the president ever asking you to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form. That wasn't true, was it, sir?
I heard that.
And that was not true, was it?
I have no obligation to be honest with the media because they're just as dishonest as anybody else.
So you're admitting, sir, you were not being truthful in that clip, correct?
My interview with Ari Melberg?
Yes.
Can be interpreted any way you'd like.
Would you like me to play it again?
You're welcome to, please.
Play it one more time.
I don't ever remember the president ever asking me to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form ever.
And, sir, it is true in May 2019. You absolutely remembered when the president asked you to deliver a message to the Attorney General of a speech for him to give related to the special counsel investigation. Isn't that correct?
I'd have to think about it.
Are you claiming, sir, that, and you had been interviewed by the special counsel about those very events in which you discussed and you said was accurately reported in the report a year earlier. Are you saying, sir, you may have forgotten it by the time you were interviewed just before the report was publicly released?
I'm saying my memory was clearly much fresher when I actually gave the interview with the special counsel's report.
Sir, is it your testimony before this committee that when you said you did not remember the president ever asking you to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice, you were saying you were being truthful? And, sir, I don't believe there's any reason to consult with your counsel. The question is, are you a truth teller in that interview?
I'm a truth teller every time I stand before Congress or a committee of jurisdiction and raise my hand and swear to God under oath.
And then there was another moment where this physical abuser of women was cornered and tried to avoid the trap he'd already laid for himself about his serial lies to the American people.
Look, I have said very candidly, I'll be happy to speak with the special counsel if they'd like to do that. I've been very open about, I volunteered to testify for 12 hours in front of the House committee. I've testified in front of the Senate committee, and I'll make myself available because I was there at the very beginning of the campaign.
Have they asked for you yet, though? Have they asked for you?
Not yet, no.
You've
No,
not
they
been
haven't yet,
subpoenaed,
Chuck,
nothing? Okay.
Sir, was that truthful, what you said on national television on March 25th, 2018, that the special counsel had not asked to speak to you at that date?
I don't know if they asked to speak to me by that date.
So you know your interview that's reported in the special counsel report was on April 6, 2018.
Is that accurate? Is that the day of the interview?
Yes.
If that's what the report says, and I'll take it to be accurate.
And sir, you made public statements denying that you had been asked to give answers to the special counsel when you actually had. You had been untruthful about that. Isn't that true, sir?
Are we talking about a discussion with the media or in front of a committee of jurisdiction where I've been sworn to testify?
I'm talking about your public statements to the American public.
I'm sorry. Nobody in front of Congress has ever lied to the public before. I'm sorry.
Sir, is that an admission that you did lie?
Absolutely not.
Oh, so did you lie, sir, in television interviews denying that you'd been asked to give answers to the special counsel?
I don't believe so.
So you deny that you ever lied in public statements about whether you were asked?
What I'm saying is, when under oath, I've always told the truth, whether it was before special counsel, whether it was before the House Judiciary Committee, whether it was before the House Intelligence Committee on 2 separate occasions, or before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Every time I've raised my right hand to God, I've sworn and told the truth.
Here's the deal. Lying to a reporter isn't some action that happens in isolation. That reporter does just that. They report to the public what they were told. So when scummy Lewandowski lies on national television, he is attempting to mislead, deceive, misinform, hoodwink the good people of the United States of America, aka lie. But that is what filthy liars do. And other than his youngest son, can you name a single person in the orbit of Donald Trump who isn't a corrupted, degenerate liar? Take your time. And if you can think of one, just leave it down in the comments. The other aspect of this is that Corey Lewandowski draws some high-grounded moral distinction about lying to the American people and lying while under oath. Come on, you dim-witted dipshit. They are both unethical. They are both immoral. The only distinction is that one is criminally prosecutable and the other is not. Look, we already know Lil Corey doesn't respect the duly elected, by the American people elected Congress of the United States. He spent his afternoon obstructing an official congressional investigation into the obstruction of justice performed by the president. Talk about meta. And he clearly doesn't respect the only private profession outlined as protected in the pages of our founding documents, the Constitution, the free press. But for him to put on such a disgusting and arrogant display of his disregard for the American people, come on. I hope the good people of the state of New Hampshire remember this if and when he decides to run for a seat in the United States Senate there. We have enough Republican cowards there in the Senate who are too weak to do the right thing by their country. We certainly don't need another.